Hi everybody, I'm Princess Lasertron, and today I'm going to show you how to make a really easy no-sew notebook cover. So it's pretty simple to make, and it looks like this. You can see that once you finish it, it's a pretty blank canvas, and I added some buttons to the front of mine to kind of jazz it up a little bit. But once you're done with it, you can add, trims, patches, puff paint, bedazzle, like whatever you want to do to embellish it. I'm just going to show you how to make kind of the bare bones and cover a notebook, and you can do one in any size, and it's really easy. So one of the first things you need is a notebook. I'm just using this little moleskin notebook. It's easy, it fits in my purse. Pretty cute, a lot of us use these, I know. You also need some felt or other heavy fabric. You could use denim or canvas or something else that's heavy like that, but I wouldn't recommend using anything really light like a cotton or no light fabric, because that'll be too flimsy and it won't be very durable. So I buy these bolts of felt from woolfeltcentral.com, and they're really great, and I have a whole bunch of them. They're great to have around for projects. But if you're doing a small notebook like this, you can probably get away with using just a 9x12 sheet of felt that you buy from a craft store. And just remember that you're going to need twice the volume, or twice the area of fabric that your notebook is. So I can kind of measure this here and see that I would need 2 sheets of this 9x12. So just make sure that you have enough for the notebook that you're going to be covering. Also make sure that you have a rotary cutter and a ruler. I like to use this clear quilting ruler. You could also just use scissors, but using the rotary cutter and ruler ensures that you're getting like a really straight cut, so that's good. And finally, for our no-sew notebook cover, you need a really good glue. For about 5 years, I've just been using this Fabri-Tac adhesive. It's made by Beacon Adhesives, and it works really well because it soaks through the fabric and it really gets into the fibers of your fabric and makes it bond together. And I've been using it for 5 years. I use it in all of my bouquets, and I also sew. But when you use this stuff, it's really pretty much just as good as sewing, so I really like using it. You can buy it at any craft store, and I also know that Walmart sells it, so it's really accessible. You can get it almost anywhere, and it's great to have around the house. Alright, so I kind of have this little piece of felt that I cut off my bolt in advance. Just going to lay it out flat. And the first thing we want to do is lay out the notebook on your fabric so you can kind of measure around it. And you're going to want to measure 1/4 inch around the outside of your notebook so that we have a nice seam allowance for the glue. So measure that right there. Just cut there. And remember that you're going to want to cut 2 of these so that you have enough fabric left over for the flaps of your notebook to stick the cover inside. Okay, so here I have 2 pieces of fabric that are the same size, and that when I lay out my notebook, it allows a 1/4 inch seam allowance on all sides of it, so we have room to glue. Alright, next, we're going to cut out the flaps for the notebook, and what you want to do is measure the cover of your notebook, and mine's about 4 inches, so I'm going to half that. So each flap for the inside of the notebook cover will be 2 inches. So with one of your pieces of fabric that you have, just cut out the fabric for those flaps. So mine's 2 inches. And I'll cut out 2 of those for both the inside and back covers. This is my cat behind me. I don't know if you can hear him. Turbo. Alright, next we're going to connect the flaps to the cover of the notebook with our Fabri-Tac, which is great. So all you have to do, if you can zoom in on this, you can kind of see like how this is just the bare bones of a notebook cover. And all we do is take one of the flaps and glue really carefully around 3 sides here, just like that. Then we'll stick that to each side of the notebook cover. And remember to keep this open on the inside flap so you can stick your cover inside. Do the other flap. And you really don't need very much of this glue. It dries really quickly, so you want to work kind of fast. There we go. And I just kind of hold it down for a second. So there you go. We have our flaps connected to the inside of the notebook, and there you are. This is basically your notebook cover right here. And when you're done with this, I would let this dry for at least an hour, and then you can add trims, you can add some buttons, like again, here's the one I made earlier. Just a couple buttons on the front, you know, no big deal, just give it some personality. So there you go. You can cover your school books like this really easily. You can decorate with them with lots of trim and kind of make them your own. And you could do some free embroidery on the cover. That's really popular now. I'm seeing that on a lot of blogs, people doing that. So there's really no limit for what you can do. This is just kind of a simple bare bones project that could really kick off a lot of ideas for other projects. So thanks so much for watching, and I hope you give this book cover a try.